It's a very, very good day. We've got a lot of charts, so we might as well jump in because we're already 3.5 minutes in. So let's do it. I'm pleased not to be uttering the words lifetime highs, which I had to do on a daily basis for, 10, 20 years. We're starting to back away some. We got a nice gap down today. And, some might say it's the tariffs, and some people might say, why tariffs going away sounds good. It doesn't matter. Just focus on the charts. Don't overthink this. We've gapped down. That's the important part. So that's progress. The diamonds also down Fridays ago to vault above that line. We've undone it largely, but getting below that level would really be nice because it would constitute a failed bullish breakout. IWM, the small caps, are off about 2/3%, pulling back away from that dashed red line. I came into the day pretty aggressive, about 200% committed. That is to say, kind of pedal to the metal. I've backed up a little, about 172% right now, but on the whole, still pretty aggressively out there because it's September, and historically, this is a good month for the bears, maybe the only good month for the bears. The cubes are down over 1%, and same deal. We've got a nice gap there. Lifetime highs were back on August 13, and we did not best that or even match it last week, and we have fallen nicely down here. So we're grinding around now where we were actually back in July at this point, even though we're in September now. And old Kathy, she's also down about 2/3%. Kathy D. Woods had a very good run with the ARK Innovation ETF, but it seems to have peaked out around here, and we're starting to burn some of that off. The market is utterly at the mercy of AI fever. If and when that ever breaks, God help the bulls. Actually, don't. The bulls are on their own. But that is absolutely, that is gore holding this freak show up. And SMH, which of course is very dependent upon that, the semiconductor index is down about 1 2/3. We had our lifetime high on this, also back on the 13th. We have sunk back down to where we were way back on July 13, 2024. So we've got 13.5 months with bupkis. And if we should crack below that, that would be extra juicy to get below that high of the 13th. You would think with all this blood in equities that bonds would be at least rallying as kind of a safe haven. No. Here's TLT slipping. And I confess, it is the first business day of the month, so I don't know if a bunch of this is, not taking into account the dividend issuance and so forth. That'll adjust itself in due time, but nominally we're down 1.2% on the TLT right now. Impatient soul that I am, I just went ahead and bagged on IEF. As far as my long positions goes, I'm more committed than ever to precious metals. IEF is not really broken. I mean, if it gets below this level here, it's pretty damaged. As it is now, it's easing off somewhat. It's still a very good looking pattern. I may well regret getting out of it, but I don't want to bother. I like my precious metals too much. Speaking of, miners are doing great. GDX, another lifetime high, blasting up 2.27%. The juniors, a much even bigger percentage gain, 3.33% roundabout. Very, very strong rally there. One specific miner in particular that's been highlighted on this segment many times is DRD, which is up about 7%. So that's pretty cool. Gold itself, GLD, very good day. Another lifetime high. This triangle that I've been yammering on endlessly about, we sneaked above it just a teeny weeny little bit on Friday, and I said that this is going to be a good week for gold coming up. And that's what's going on. We have achieved a gap. I have moved this higher, anchored to Friday's high. It is totally okay if we sell off back to this gap. Absolutely. It'd be nice if it just went up every day, but it won't. It'll burn off at some point. But that gap is vitally important now. So the triangle is complete, and that's terrific. Silver, getting closer and closer to our target. So about 2 2/3% gain for SLV. And OUNZ, OUNZ, which is an amalgam of those two, obviously a good day there as well. About 2.4% pop on that. And likewise, I've dragged that anchor point 2 with the high on Friday as the gap anchor. Of course, my own obsession is I've got a lot of gold, but palladium is what I'm all goofy about. It was actually up over 4% in futures trading yesterday. It burned some of that off, but it's still a nice gain. PALL is up over 2.5%, comparable to what gold's doing. Long term, I believe the percentage increase with palladium will beat, maybe by a lot, what's going on with gold. So yay, palladium, going the right way. I'm not in platinum, but it too seems to be doing all right. Here's PPLT up over 2%. So just across the board, people realizing that equities are insanely overvalued, the highest in human history. It makes the internet bubble look like a bargain. I mean, you know, the internet bubble was sensible and stoic, and your grandfather smoking a pipe, nodding his head about how wise it was compared to where we are right now. Metals, on the other hand, even though they're lifetime highs in some cases, they're a bargain. I think they're going to have a great time. Some of the odds and ends I've got over in Bearland, Accenture, ACN, and these charts, as usual, should pretty much speak for themselves. Abercrombie and Fitch, A&F down over 2.5%. Here's Peabody, BTU, down nicely, about 4.25%. Salesforce, CRM, down about 1.5%. Here's CrowdStrike, about 2.5% negative on this one. IonQ, off just a little, but I want to have some participation in this whole quantum nuttiness on the short side. On semiconductor, down again, about 2.4%. Carvana, very richly valued, off about 1.25%. Royal Caribbean, down 2.6%, having come off of a lifetime high just on Friday. And one more, Schlumberger, SLB, about 2.75% down on SLB. And, you know, as you can see here, beneath that little blue reversal pattern, I think plenty of good potential for lower prices. I went too fast. I got a few more symbols to go, but I better slow down. Maybe I can talk about my childhood or something. But turning our attention to our handful of symbols left, I will say that, you know, as I look at the IPOs out there that have come out recently, they are just, I think, representative of just how overpriced things are. Here's Circle Internet, which I believe is the stable coin outfit, ironically. So this has moved from around 300 to, we could be in double digits soon. It looks like it's burned off about 60% so far, just glancing at this real quick. Yeah, it's still above the IPO. If you want to argue that, well, if you bought on this day and held on, yes, you're absolutely right. You're very, very right. My goodness. But this is quite the slog down, and quite consistent too. There's not many stocks that look like that. Be nice, but you know, it's kind of rare. But what's happening, I think, is that we are starting to see the sort of apotheosis of asset mania, which is crypto, starting to look a little frayed around the edges. And so here with Bitcoin, it had peaked around about $800,000 just recently, back about a couple of weeks back. And yesterday we had gotten down to around $18,000 below that. Now we're rallying now. You know, it's up about $2,300 or so. But this is a pretty interesting break. We have failed this trend line. We've broken below this breakout level. And so even with this kind of dead cat bounce going on, it's looking pretty raspy. In addition, and this has nothing to do with crypto, here's another widely celebrated IPO, Figma, FIG, lifetime low. on this one, having gone from 142 down to around 65. So whatever percentage that is, 60, 70%, something like that. And, just as lifetime highs beget new highs, because everybody's a winner, and really it's just like kind of the greatest fool who buys at the top, who knows where that'll be. It's inverse here. Everybody's a loser. Everyone who's bought, no matter what price, is in the red. And the lower it goes, the more sweat is going to appear on their brow. And so it kind of feeds on itself, just in the opposite direction. One last tidbit. I did last week during the Cracker Barrel logo brouhaha, shorted Uncle Herschel, and that's going well. We're down over 9% on CBRL, and I'm hanging on to that sucker. So all in all, a good day. And the big event this week, of course, will be Friday. I'm not talking about the San Francisco event, which I'll be hanging out somewhere in the balconies probably, but I'm talking about the jobs report, which is going to be an hour before the open. That should be a very big deal. So, hope you're doing all right.
If you're not subscribed, subscribe right here. And if you want to meet me and the team in person at our next live event, hit the link at the top of the description.